Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my 12-part eclipse series on the eclipses going through the signs and houses. Definitely go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, which is my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, to enroll in free courses and all kinds of other offerings I have through there. And when you search for my name, Annie Botticelli, in an internet search, you'll see all kinds of listings of mostly free resources that I make for you to facilitate your study of astrology and your quest for vibrational wellness. So this series is talking about eclipses. I'm doing one eclipse video for each sign and house. Okay, so every sign in astrology corresponds with a house in the zodiac wheel. And so an eclipse in a certain sign is also the energy of that corresponding house. And this becomes very helpful to understand when you want to go deeper in your study of eclipses and how they may affect you, and understanding the opportunities and the lessons that are at play during each eclipse cycle. Each eclipse cycle is about 2 years long, and every 6 months in those 2 years we have a hot spot where the actual eclipses occur. So the storylines, the themes, the lessons, the opportunities, the chances to clear karma and get on our dharmic path, which is our highest expression path, which is what the eclipses really represent. They occur along the nodal line, and the nodes represent clearing karma and stepping into our highest expression. So every eclipse that we have and every eclipse cycle that's at play is really facilitating us in healing, clearing karma, and on stepping on our highest trajectory, which is our dharma, our purpose, why we're here. So that's why it's really important to understand them, and why I spend so much time creating resources to facilitate this for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on what eclipses, what they represent and what they can bring, and then we'll go into the featured sign and house for this video. Okay, so these eclipses happen twice a year usually. Sometimes it's every 6 months basically, so it could be the beginning of one year and then in the middle and then towards the end, or they're broken up that way. So when the eclipses come, they tend to bring alive and into clear view that scientific law that matter is not created, neither created nor destroyed, it just changes form. We can really see that at play at the eclipses, where it's taking energy from one area, because the eclipses run with polarities. Okay, so there are 12 signs and there are 6 polarities. So there's signs that oppose each other, that are a pair. And the eclipses happen in these 2 opposing signs throughout that 2 years. So it's a reshuffling and a reworking of energy. So one eclipse cycle, it will take from one area and add to the other, and vice versa. So we're just kind of shifting and reshuffling and reorganizing energy in those arenas of your life. The eclipses occur in certain signs, and those effects are global. But they also drill down into certain areas of your chart for each sign, and that understanding this and watching these videos will help you to take the work deeper. Now, in order to figure out during each eclipse cycle what houses are being accentuated for you personally, just watch my monthly videos, and somewhere in the area of the eclipse time, I'll be talking about it, but it will save me a lot of time having this video series to refer you to, so we don't have to cover all of this in each of the horoscope videos, which is what I used to do. Okay, so this reshuffling of energy, where basically the energy isn't it isn't created, it changes forms. So we might see a grandparent die and a child be born. So for that person who's experiencing that, it's like an area of their lives that was present with them for their whole lives is gone, but now this new energy is here. So it's like this major reshuffling of energy, and it very often has very, very major trajectory changes for a lot of people, and it's going to depend on the exact degree that it's hitting planets in your chart. But if it's really affecting you, you'll know it. Everybody else may have a subtle change that's harder to notice or recognize, but it's definitely affecting everyone, regardless of whether we're aware of it or not. And the more you look, the more you'll see these things at play. So eclipse season, what I call eclipse season, lasts about 4 to 6 and even sometimes 8 weeks before the actual eclipse. You'll see a heating up. It's kind of like, I always think about it as a pot on a stove, where it's like a certain pot, okay, and a certain liquid in that pot that has a certain energy that has the signs that are in that eclipse cycle. And during the actual eclipse time, it heats up to a boil, you know? And then during the times in between, it's like down to a simmer. And then we turn up, you know, the universe cranks up the messages and they convert from the inner world into the outer world, and we get to see them more clearly. And so it heats up and then it kind of fades back down, and it heats up, but the themes are always at play for these 2 months. For these 2 years. Okay, so just make sure I tell everything else. So the things that happen at eclipse time tend to feel destined a lot of times, where things happen, and a lot of times it's out of our control. Eclipses often bring non-negotiable changes to our lives. It can be very scary and very stressful. So it's definitely a key point around eclipse time to do modalities that help you to ease anxiety, and I discuss those in videos and other offerings that I have on how you can keep the anxiety level low so that you can stay connected with your intuition and with spirit and navigate through them in the easiest way. Okay, so even though there are certain things in our lives that are fated and unavoidable, there are definitely things we have some say in, and we can shift our experience of those events. So understanding all of these things and doing inner work to help clear out the karmic gunk that's coming up can be part of how we can have a better experience of the things that are fated to happen. Okay, so just make sure there's everything I wanted to talk about there. Okay, yeah, so just the overview is that eclipses as an astronomical occurrence happen at the time they're happening, but eclipses as an astrological occurrence happen for all of the time they're occurring. And you'll notice for the years that a certain eclipse cycle is happening, if you go back to the last time or last times that eclipse cycle happened, there are themes at play that will likely come back into your life. It doesn't mean the same things will happen per se, but you'll see the same lessons, the same topics that are moving you along in a certain area of life. Okay, so now let's check out the sign and house of focus. Eclipse time tends to bring drama, fruition, major changes, major trajectory shifts, things that are surprises, things that are, moving along a continuum that you've been working on, so a major fruition. So basically, it's a very active time of change and emotion. When there's an eclipse in the 6th house or in Virgo, health is a very big focus. For some people, this will actually result in a health crisis. If there's something that's been undercover that has not been in the light or that you have not been aware of, sometimes that can be brought to light. For others, it could be movement along a continuum of the health practices or of diagnosis or of solutions or something where there's something notable. Finding of a perfect practitioner, doing labs or diagnostics, and getting into a healing or wellness routine. So anything having to do with finding a new practitioner, whether it's in the mainstream path or the alternative path, finding a new modality has a major impact, finding a new, practitioner. And this can also have to do with one's own wellness path turning into a practitioner path. So you stepping into wellness as a practitioner, because this house and this sign also rules work, your vocation. It's partly related to the vocation. And if you are in any of those lines of work, medical, alternative, or mainstream, then work can be highlighted as a major sector, major closings in your work of how you do your work, major openings in how you're shifting into the next level of your work, if you've already started this process. New gym memberships, new diets, things that rule your daily experience. In yoga practice, yoga is in here, meditation, acupuncture, all of that. Surgeries, any kind of procedure that's medical. Getting into the details of a bigger picture. So this time often will give you a download or a necessity from the outside or an impetus from the inside to start to work on the details and get a system together for your life, like even where you put your keys when you come in, how you do your maintenance on your vehicles and home, just everything, the systems on which everything in your life runs, those can be called into question and brand new routines can come. I see this happen or manifest a lot in like either moving or temporary lodging or going somewhere else or changing a job or, something major happening to your life where what your daily routine is changes in a big way. I also see pets being highlighted at this time. Sometimes a new pet comes in. Sometimes a current pet needs more attention, or you have more time and focus, or you start, a new training regimen with them, or something related to pets. Your pets could have some symptoms, and definitely at this time it would be important to follow up with those things because things undercover tend to come out at this time. And sometimes there's a transition for a pet. Whether it's going into a different home or whether it's, transitioning out of body. So things involving pets and other animals. Sometimes people who work with animals will see, this manifestation show up along those fronts. People in the veterinary field, people doing healing work, equine therapy. And again, there could be this thing having to do with you wanting to do your wellness for work and moving along that process. One of the most important things at this time is to not ignore your symptoms or your pet's symptoms. Symptoms in eclipse season are showing us the things that are brewing undercover, and paying attention to them and being proactive could make for an easier process and even better outcomes. Decluttering and organizing in a big way, like doing some sort of major process. One of my favorite resources for this is The Magical Art of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. She also has another book called Spark Joy. Things like that, where there's like a system for organizing your life. And she talks about organizing your things in these certain ways. She has a method where you'll never have clutter again if you stick to this. And also helping you to release things, like the process by which you release things, judging on whether they spark joy for you or not. So bringing clarity and coherence to your surroundings is a big piece of this. And, there are many ways that can happen. There could be someone or something in your environment that is bringing less coherence. And they could be, that could be eclipsed out, or something could be shifted, or you could have a major inner shift that could drastically change how you structure your external environment. Supplement regimens and other daily practices, including spiritual practices, can also come in a big way during a 6th house or Virgo eclipse cycle. So someone could find a meditation practice and really get into it, or go deeper into it, or anything like that, where it could come in a big way if it's brand new, or it can end and shift into something else. Anything that has to do with our daily experience. So I hope you loved this. Definitely look at my other resources. If you search for my name, Annie Botticelli, online, you'll find tons of things that I offer you. You can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, for lots of blogs and other things that can facilitate your journey. You can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com for written horoscopes, lifestyle blogs, and astrology kissed information that I think you will just love. You can go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com, to see my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. And definitely check out my growing list of books, including my new book, PLANETOLOGY. If you search for Annie Botticelli and PLANETOLOGY and Annie Botticelli, Radical Prayer, those are the 2 books that are out as of the time of my recording this. And I'm sure as this goes on, you will see more books coming out from me. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse season, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!